Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Steve Norman reporting. American boxing legend Muhammad Ali has died after battling Parkinson's disease with more than 3 decades. The former world heavyweight boxing champion was fighting respiratory issues also at the time of his death. Ali was known for his bold language and self-promotion while he was actively boxing. He spoke with reporters before fighting world heavyweight champion Joe Frazier in 1971.
Joe's gonna come out smoking, and I ain't gonna be joking. I'll be peckin and a pokin, pouring water on his smoking. Then this might shock and amaze you, but I will destroy Joe Frazier.
He loved his poetry. Ali, both beloved and controversial, so dominated professional boxing that Sports Illustrated magazine named him Sportsman of the 20th century. Muhammad Ali, dead at the age of 74. U.S. Defense Chief Ash Carter says China could end up in self-isolation if it continues with provocative militarization in the South China Sea. Carter spoke at a security conference in Singapore where there is growing anxiety about Chinese actions. Chinese academic rebutted today that it's the United States, not China, that's escalating tensions by sailing military ships and flying planes near China's territories in the South China Sea. United Nations Security Council has held an emergency closed-door meeting to hear briefings about the blocking of humanitarian aid in Syria. Syria's UN ambassador Bashar Joffrey dismissed claims that his country is hindering deliveries to certain areas. International Syria Support Group has called on the World Program to unilaterally deliver food. This is VOA News. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry says both Israel and the Palestinians need to take immediate steps to demonstrate their interest in a lasting peace. Ministers, including Mr. Kerry from more than 20 countries, gathered in Paris, welcomed France's offer to coordinate and work on the prospect of convening an international conference by the end of the year. David Keyes is Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesman.
Peace is not going to come through imposition. It's not going to come through a massive global conference with dozens of foreign ministers coming throughout the world. It's going to come when the Palestinian president agrees to actually sit down across the table from the Israeli Prime Minister, and every issue is going to be on the table.
Neither Israel nor the Palestinians attended the Paris meeting. A new report finds the situation in eastern Ukraine remains volatile 2 years after war broke out between Russian-backed armed separatists and the government. Lisa Schlein reports from the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, which issued the report in Geneva.
The latest UN figures show nearly 9,400 people have been killed and more than 21,500 others wounded since the conflict began in mid-April 2014. UN Human Rights spokeswoman Ravina Shamdasani tells VOA there is a worrying increase in heavy weaponry near the contact line.
There have been strongly credible reports of servicemen from across the border from Russia coming into and out of Ukrainian territory. And the same goes for heavy weaponry as well. There have been very credible reports.
The report accuses the armed rulers of eastern Ukraine of widespread human rights violations and abuses. Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
10 refugee athletes from Africa and the Middle East will compete as a team in the upcoming 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. IOC President Thomas Bach spoke to reporters after the IOC Executive Board met in Lausanne. He said the Refugee Olympians will be a symbol of hope to refugees everywhere.
It can send a signal to the international community that refugees are our fellow human beings and are an enrichment to society.
Athletes from the refugee team will march in the ceremonial parade of competitors from more than 200 countries when the Games begin in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That will be on August the 5th. The Olympian flag will lead the refugees, and the Olympic anthem will be played in their honor. You got more news by going to our website. You can find us at voanews.com.
That's the latest world news from VOA.